Luis Carlos, hi. Thank you so much for being here. I also want to thank all of our listeners for being here for the second episode of Teachers of Knowledge. Luis Carlos and I are very excited to bring even another episode to you and allow you the opportunity to get to know us a little bit better. So that will bring me to the purpose of today's podcast. Today is all about getting to know Luis Carlos.
Hello. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, I'm super excited. Are you excited?
I am. I'm nervous.
Yes. Well, Luis Carlos, are you ready? Would you like to start with a hard, deep question, or do you want to just gradually be introduced to those harder questions?
I am okay with both. Whatever you want. Here's a good one.
All right. Well, I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you and hit you with a deep one right now. Okay. Right. I would like to know, and I would like our listeners to know, what is the best piece of advice that you've ever been given before, and that kind of that you think of often, and kind of helps tell your story?
Oh wow! Yeah, you went really deep with that one. So, wow. There are so many, but I only can think of one right now. So I'm gonna go with that one, and it's be true to yourself. It's not been only once that I have gotten that advice, but I think that it had made a difference, not only in my personal life but also in my teaching. I can go deeper than that.
Kind of sums up. We'll get there. Get there. What an awesome piece of advice. I think I'll have to take that for myself as well. So thanks for sharing. All right. Well, I won't be that mean right away anymore. Okay. So ready? Favorite kind of animal?
Birds.
Birds. Oh my gosh. Why? They wake me up every morning right now here in Panama.
They can fly. I'm a traveler. Actually, you know what I say bird? Because the first one that came to mind was a peacock. I think that it's such a majestic and beautiful animal. I don't know if you know this, but my family, I shared this before. My family owns a restaurant, and we had a like mini zoo in there, but it wasn't actually mini. It was really big. We had 3 lions, and we had 40 species of birds, snakes, like whatever you can think of, and we still have the peacock, and I just love that bird. Whoa. So that's why.
So your family owns a peacock?
Yes, it's on the rest.
That is awesome. Yes, that is awesome. I love that. I would have never known that about you. Their colors are truly, truly, truly amazing. The blended of the purple and the blue or the teal. Oof, yeah. That's awesome. So then my question to follow up with that, would you consider yourself a majestic person, kind of like the peacock?
I don't think so. I just look. I mean, the peacock is like a. Do you know a lot about these animals? These animals are very egocentric. and I remember this one. So it's a free animal in there, right? Like he can go wherever he wants. The thing is that a downside on this animal is that their tail is so the feathers are so heavy that they cannot fly that much. They can't. Oh. So it's like really, really short distances. So what I like about birds, they cannot do, which is travel long distances. But I think that also, and something that I remember is that they have this obsession with themselves. So I remember this pickup, like a kind of a. He was walking on the entrance of the restaurant, and you know that sometimes the rain of the tires of the cars, they reflect a lot, like if they are clean, and he could see himself in there, and it was like having a fight with himself, you know, because I mean he cannot believe how beautiful he is. I don't think that I relate to that.
Well, I'll have to ask your friends.
Okay.
That's funny. All right, Elsie, you ready?
Yeah.
If you won the lottery tomorrow, but only could buy one thing, what would that one thing be?
And does this thing needs to be a material thing?
No, anything. No specifics to it, but it does need to cost money because you
I
won
will
the lottery.
buy a school.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So that actually brings me to my next question. Maybe it does. I shouldn't make that assumption. What is your passion, Elsie? Like what gets you up in the morning? What keeps you motivated and what keeps you growing?
I love challenges. Um, mm, I will say that in a very general way, I love solving problems. Yeah, that's a big definition. Like that's something that I'm passionate about, right? But tied to that, there is this like solving the world, and we cannot do that by ourselves, but we can make little changes in others, and we start with ourselves, and then we try to change, or at least impact. We try to make impact, or literal impact on students, and I think that that's my passion, like trying to make a change through education.
Well, as we both know, that can be super difficult, right? There's a lot of barriers that are in our way. So, to get through those barriers, what do you do daily or whenever, I guess, if there's no time frame to it, to make sure that you maintain happiness and to make sure that there's a smile on your face? What do you have to do every day or at least once a week, something that makes you happy?
um, so this is something that I don't do often, but I would love to do more. Like being outside is what helps me, right? Like I think that that's something that we inherit from this situation, but I really appreciate now being outside. And but I will tell you this: rollerblading is my thing. I think that's being outside, running, whatever, walking, talking to people. But rollerblading is different. I can tell you listening to music. I can tell you reading a book, all of that. But it gives me this sense of zen. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that I will go with that one. And if I can be listening to music while I'll do it, or do that with my boyfriend, my sister, people that I know, then top.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. How did you learn how to rollerblade?
One of my few, actually, this is like the only one that maybe out of two that I remember, a Christmas gift that I got when I was really really young, were some rollerbladers. I remember the brand. It was like Chicago or something like that. Probably not even a real brand. But we didn't have enough money to get like nice gifts, and this was like huge for me. Uh, I remember that I learned not with those ones. So funny story. my
I'm ready.
my cousin had some Barbie rollerbladers, so rollerblades, and
Did they light
I
up? Did they light up too?
no, but they were white with pink, and we were
Yes.
raised in a this small town, and my dad and my whole family, I guess, was like a really, they were raised in a different way. So like wearing something pink or was something that they learned to accept later. And I did wear those and learned with those ones because those were the only ones available and they allowed me to do it. So that's why I learned.
Oh, I love it. I love that how family oriented you are. You brought them up a couple of times now, and that's very good, right? So while you're rollerblading, if you could pick your favorite view, would it be beach or mountains?
Um, well, I'm okay with both, but I will say beach.
Beach?
I Yes, because I have done it, and I have done both. But like doing it on the Causeway, for example, or in Cinta Costera, like amazing experiences. But um, there is this place in Venezuela in Margaritan Island. It's a very famous touristic place where I used to live for some months or years, maybe some months. Um, and there is this space in there on the coast of the beach where people usually walk or run. But I remember once taking my rollerblades in there, and I cannot describe it. It's such a great view, and it's amazing. So I will say beach.
Well, you're going to make me want to go to the beach this weekend. Thank you, Elsie. I'll send you some pictures. So let's kind of change gears and kind of look and focus more on your career and where you are right now. So currently, I know that you're a tech coach. That's correct?
Yes.
So I have a whole bunch of questions that center around tech coaching. Where did you get your passion for technology? Including podcasting right now. This is amazing. This is brilliant. So where did this passion for technology come from?
Let me tell you something. You have such, like, I love your questions.
Thank you. There's a lot I want to know.
They always take me back to something, like really, really back. I started feeling passionate about technology when I was living in the United States. So when I was 15, I moved there, right? To Texas, College Station. And I went to it was like A&M Consolidated High School, and it was my junior year. Junior year, yes. And I didn't speak English. But I remember that my very last class out of 7 daily was programming AP or something like that. All of my classes were advanced because I had taken all of the classes back in Venezuela, so everything was advanced: chemistry advanced, physics advanced, everything. And I didn't know English. And when you're learning a coding language, it's like learning another language in top of not knowing English. So it was really difficult for me. And I was falling asleep at that class because it was the last class, and I didn't know how to explain to the teacher that I was tired, and because the reason why I was tired. So she hated me at the beginning. But later I learned. I got excited about coding. I got really excited about coding when I finally got my my balance in the school. And I remember this teacher at the very end, we were asked to code the Hangman game, and I was working on it like every night. I didn't go out I was just doing that. And I remember going explaining to her, like, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I'm getting this error. And she said, like, I explained the whole thing. Ask one of your friends. And I did. And then at the end, when I finished, she took me out of the classroom and she said, hey, you don't know this, but if you go inside and look at the bulletin board, all of the codes that I have in there are yours. And
no way.
And I didn't know this. And look, I get chills.
I got them too. Oh my goodness.
And it was just like this spark for me, like, wow, I can do this. And I think that's how I started loving technology.
What an amazing story. I wonder if a lot of our listeners could connect to bits and pieces of your story, like language learning, falling asleep, just at a wit's end, and then just how they just found their way through that. Like I wonder, I look forward to hearing some of our listeners' stories the same, or seeing how they're the same or different. That'd be super cool.
Think that's also why I really enjoyed so much about my role as a learning support specialist, because I was basically an EL student, and I need a lot of help, and I got it. I got it when I was there. I remember my EL teacher helping me out a lot, and I think that it's also part of that background that builds into the passion of helping learning support students and EAL students.
That's super awesome. So that kind of actually comes to my next question. You keep doing a great job segueing to my questions. My next question was, you have done a lot of different things in your lifetime. You've done learning support, you've done a little bit of math, you're tech coach now. I know I'm missing a lot, so go ahead and list off a few more things for me so our listeners can know what you've done, please.
I started as an so only in education as a STEM teacher, and then STEM and robotics, and then I was the head of department of that school on the IT department, and then also at ISP I was the EdTech coordinator.
That's awesome. So no matter what position you're in, you always have like this wealth of knowledge of more different areas and different perspectives to bring to the table. And you have so much to offer. So my question is how do you communicate? What is your like go-to strategy to communicate clearly, make sure that your brain's focused, and to make sure that you're heard and welcomed? What do you do to communicate well to your colleagues?
Lauren, you know how honest I am, and
Mm-hmm.
let me tell you something. In Spanish, I am so good at communicating what I want to say. Right? It's I'm skilled at it. I write. I have written short stories. I'm passionate about reading, um, and I know how to say what I want to say. In English, I don't feel the same way. I always actually part of all of this what I'm doing, and you can ask Kyle, is about improving. It's about improving my communication skills. So I am pretty sure that I'm honest when I believe in building relationships. I believe in communicating with trust, like within trust, like creating that trustable environment, and then just being me, being true to myself, as I mentioned before.
I love
But
it.
I don't think that actually I come across like I think that sometimes I miss words or miss more vocabulary. I guess that my question is I don't think I'm proficient, but to make it happen and make it work, because I know that even like this it works. I frame it on a space of vulnerability, honesty, and being true to myself.
Oh, Elsie. If only I could just like take on all of your wonderful qualities and characteristics, and just know how much you're teaching me right now during this podcast. But I do have one question. I think it's going to be my last, unless you get me going some more with more of my questions. You told us the best advice that you've ever received, right? Be true to yourself. And I think that this story or the stories that you have shared has actually like supported that, because you keep talking about like your own personal experiences and how it's helped you become who you are and support you in your journey. So then my next question and last question would be, what's the best advice you could give to your listeners right now about life in general, career, life, something? What could you tell our listeners?
Easy, it's easy. Don't take any of my advices.
No! Are you kidding me?
I'm
Ooh.
kidding. I'm kidding. No, wow, that's I think that I will go with the one that I was given, but let's try to actually give a different one. And I don't have it right now on the top of my head, so um, I think that you know what I will say. This is something that I have had in my mind recently, and um, it had helped me kind of risk it a little bit, and even challenge myself. And it was something like, if you are not afraid of what you're doing, then you're probably not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're not doing the right thing. So my advice will be something like, it's okay to be afraid and take risks. Like that will be my advice.
Wow. Audience, if you're just listening and not seeing my facial expression, that advice was jaw dropping. Thank you, Luis Carlos. Thank you. Thank you. Um,
Thank you. I really,
oh my
really like
goodness.
this interview, and I loved it. I don't even like. You're a very good interviewer, by the way.
Thank you. I have a lot I want to know about our guest hosts here. Well, Luis Carlos, have an amazing day. It's always fun working with you. And thank you for sharing your stories, your obstacles you've overcome, and just your advice. Holy Toledo, I'm going to walk away with this having a lot I need to think about now. So thank you. I feel like I just had my therapy session. Thank you.
Thank you, Lauren. And remember, audience, if you're going to be part of this project, please contact us and we will be happy to be interviewing you. Bye, Lauren.
Bye.